The people aren't asking for us to teach them about how to recycle or clean up after themselves, but we do it because it needs to be done. Just like this space, no one's asking you to plant plants, but you're doing it because it needs to be done. Well, I like to garden all over the world, so I meet people mostly online and I try to figure out a way to go garden with them. This is our 4th year coming here. So our first year was 2016. Gianni and Andrea were very receptive. They said we could come visit them, and our Guerrilla Gardening Club in California was very large, over 300 people in 2016. We wanted to travel and garden, so we like gardening, but who doesn't love to travel? So we came here to do an international trip, and each year we've expanded upon that, so that this year we went to Naples and gardened, and Rome and gardened, and Bologna and Porto and Ferriore, and then we're going to go to Istanbul. So we go and look at gardens, and we meet people, and we guerrilla garden, and we talk about gardening, and we talk about plants and nature and society and how nature and society balance each other. Italy has a way of being, they're very polite here. Even with a space like this, they're polite. They're wonderful hosts. That's the key. Italians, I think it's subconscious, they don't even consciously think about it. It's in their nature to be wonderful hosts. They're just constantly so welcoming, and they create social situations for us to participate in, and they always make us feel not just welcome, but almost like it's a celebration that we're visiting. It's a very old feeling, like it feels older here. Like that is something my grandparents would have done, you know, and it's something that they're doing here in every generation. When I bring younger people from California and they get to see that, I think it humbles them. So we come home having learned something, and I wonder what other countries would teach us. You know, if we were to go to, you know, New Zealand and garden, what would we learn? Like what part of that culture, and in their gardening situation, in a group like this, what would we learn? And if we went to Russia and garden in a group, what would we learn? Because there's got to be specific things for each culture, because I can see the specifics just in difference between California and Bologna. You see trash here, but nothing like we see in California. Trash is part of gardening because you have to remove the trash in order to garden, especially in California. I mean, this is very clean. It's so much cleaner here. Like in Naples, for example, they have these massive piles of trash, and it's bags stacked, but all the bags are tied, and they're all stacked like in this organized pile, and it must get picked up because there's not litter on the ground. It's so organized and clean. And I saw only one lady opening up the bags, but even she would open the bags, look what's inside, and then tie them back up and keep it so organized, almost like they want to be polite about it. But if we were to do this in California, we would have to clean up a lot of trash, and in doing so we would create recycling and trash. So we work at like concerts and festivals and raise money to teach about recycling. And in a way, we're guerrilla gardening people. So if you apply that idea of guerrilla gardening, all of a sudden you can apply it to a lot of things like art. So graffiti on a blank space, that's guerrilla gardening because you're gardening a space with art. Or guerrilla theater, like where you would perform on the street and the sound and visual, you are taking a dead space and brightening it just like a flower would brighten a dead space like this, what we would call a blighted space or a void. Me personally, I studied at university botany, so I have a degree in botany, and I have worked on plants and the science of plants for 20 years. The last 10 years I worked specifically on historic and estate gardens and public gardens. So I work for cities and the very wealthy with large estates. So I do that for money. And then the Guerrilla Gardening Club that I run in California, we are a nonprofit that raises money to create jobs and housing and funding for education for our club members. So we raise money through doing gardens for public service, like the city will donate money and then we'll do a gardening project like this, but much bigger. And then we also do trash and recycling education, and we call that guerrilla gardening because cleaning up trash and cleaning up a space is essential in order to grow plants there. The people who are joining the club, like these people, they're becoming better people for doing public service. And then you are also doing public service for the community, because like the people who walk by or ride their bikes by and stop and talk to you and ask you what you're doing, they're walking away thinking about what they saw and what they talked to you about, and they go away having, you've like placed a seed inside them for them to feel like we should help our community. So that's what guerrilla gardening is in a way, is that it's the plants you're putting in the ground, but it's also the story people are walking away with, because they leave and they think about that. They think about what they saw and what they talked to you about, and about how we should help our community grow in ways like this, like gardening without being asked, or gardening for free, or cleaning up a space that is ugly. I mean, you could clean up this space right here and plant all of this, and maybe you could paint that fence, and you could do art on the sidewalk, and these are all that same idea. And then someone would talk to you, like, why are you doing this? And then you would talk to them about it, and they would go home and they would tell their friend, and they would tell their child, and that story would keep going. So that seed of community gardening, because that's what you're doing, you're gardening your community.
Hello, sirs. Look at that.